What's up, Wastelanders? I'm Ian Higton and I'm back once again with another episode of Fallout Friday. Coming up on this week's show, Bethesda releases Fallout 4's console and PC system specs. Is it time for a new graphics card? Find out right here. Fallout 4 features programmable base building. I take a closer look at what that could mean for us as players. And finally, I'll be showing off a couple of really impressive mods for Fallout New Vegas, because they impressed me. A week or so ago, over on their store page, Microsoft let slip that the file size for Fallout 4 would be a surprisingly trim 28.12GB. Well, yesterday Bethesda finally confirmed this with an FAQ-style Q&A that lists both the console and the PC system specs. For consoles, the only thing you'll need to worry about is hard drive space. Fallout 4 requires 28 to 35GB depending on the territory and languages supported. The UK version supports English voice and text only, while the European versions of the game support English, French, Italian, German and Spanish, hence the bigger install sizes. For PCs, things get a little more complicated, as is always the case. RAM-wise, you'll only need 8GB, which is a relief, but you are required to have a 64-bit operating system installed. GPU and CPU-wise, you'll need a minimum of an Intel i5 or its equivalent, and a Radeon HD 7870 graphics card or equivalent to get it to run, while the recommended components are an Intel i7 or equivalent and a Radeon R9 290X or equivalent if you want to play the game with ultra sexy graphics enabled. Hopefully you lot understand what all that means better than I do though, because to me that just looks like someone vomited letters and numbers onto the screen. Fallout 4 will also support gamepads on the PC. It's compatible straight out of the box with Xbox One and Xbox 360 pads, while other controllers may take a little bit of fiddling with to get working. Finally, Bethesda also state that Fallout 4 will unlock at 12:01 AM in every territory, which means we Europeans finally get a game before the US does. Hooray! Well, I mean, we technically only get it like 8 or so hours before them, but still, sucks to be you, America. Only joking, I love you really. Now, the fact that Fallout 4's base building features the ability to perform simple programming tasks via the use of wires and terminals is old news. Todd told us all about it during the E3 announcement.
You can also build your own terminals that hook to this power grid, and then you can control the various things and tweak them that the power lines are connected to.
Since then, I thought it would basically be limited to things like turning lights on and off, opening doors, or operating turrets, but in the recently released The Team Bringing Fallout 4 to Life Part 1 video, Todd Howard said something that really intrigued me.
And one of our artists made that. I just thought it was so awesome. One of the things we don't show, because it's, we couldn't get in the videos, he made a music player too. Like you can make things that play audio tunes and then plug the terminal in and adjust the pitch. And so...
That's the visual programming kind of being able to do that, or how's that work?
Yeah, because we have terminals in Fallout, we can kind of get away with like pseudo scripting without you getting in and modding and scripting, because you can build a terminal and then access everything on it.
A music player with adjustable pitch? That's pretty insane and a really exciting prospect. I've seen some incredible things built in Minecraft with Redstone, so I'm super excited to see what people start creating with this once it's been out for a few months. Got any awesome builds planned? Let us know in the comments below. Now, we all know that modding is going to be a big feature for Fallout 4, and over the past couple of months, I've seen a couple of mods for Fallout New Vegas that have got me pretty excited for what will be possible in Bethesda's version of Boston.
Today, the courier awakens the library from its long sleep.
This is Fallout Autumn Leaves, which was released by modders at the beginning of this month. Autumn Leaves adds new characters, quests, and over 2,000 lines of admittedly slightly ropey voiced dialogue to the game.
Greetings, I am James, Rapco Protectron Unit 13882. and personal assistant for Professor Cartwright. How may I help you?
Also added to the game are new perks, several endings, and an original soundtrack from Pablo Coma, who was the composer for the mobile game Healer Quest. No, I've never heard of it either. The official blurb reads, "Walk the Mojave one last time and discover a centuries-old library inhabited by sentient machines. In this forgotten vault you will discover that you might not know yourself as well as you thought you did. In Autumn Leaves you visit a library that has been sealed away for centuries in vault-like conditions. Amidst rows of centuries-old books, players will unravel the disturbing secrets of these mysterious automatons, as well as the truth behind their own quest for the Platinum Chip. Autumn Leaves presents the players with a series of rites of initiation, where in between abusive robots, verbal jousts, casual death threats and fat loot, the courier discovers their true identity. Confronted by a full cast of lovably unpredictable robots programmed to emulate human emotions, they will be challenged to solve a centuries-old murder and maybe, just maybe, help the machines find their own inner self. Or blow them up. It sounds pretty cool and should be a nice way to pass the time between now and the release of Fallout 4, but I have heard from some players that it is pretty light on action, so go into this one expecting a more story-driven experience.
Oh dear.
This next mod makes up for the potential lack of thrills in Autumn Leaves by adding a big dose of horror. Five Nights at Vault 5 is a Five Nights at Freddy's themed mod with a bit of a twist. In Five Nights at Vault 5 you aren't stuck in a single room. In this mod you'll need to move around and evade your pursuers in a deadly game of hide and seek. Players who dare to enter Vault 5 will quickly discover that it contains a fully functioning arena full of exploding robots that want nothing more than to sneak up on you and explode your face off. To make things even more difficult, during your 5-night stay in Vault 5, certain terminals will occasionally show alert messages. These terminals must be turned off in order to stop yourself becoming irradiated, so you'll need to get to those as fast as possible without getting spotted by the robots. Without any weaponry, the only way to protect yourself is by closing doors and peeking around corners in the third-person viewpoint, and according to people who've played it, it can be properly terrifying. Even if you don't think it sounds scary though, you have to admit it is a fantastic Fallout-themed version of the Five Nights at Freddy's formula. If you want to try out these mods for yourself, I've included links to the download pages for both of them in the video description below. Right, it's time for me to get Colin's dinner ready, but before I go, one of the winners of last week's competition messaged me on Twitter to let me know his prizes had turned up okay. Here's Red Gundog striking a pose while wearing his brand new Fallout 4 swag. I can't tell for certain because of the mask he's wearing, but I'm guessing he has a rather smug look on his face. Okay, listen Colin, I'm really struggling to think of something funny to say for the end of this video, so I'm just gonna pat you on the head for a bit and then we can walk off into the sunset together. Cool? Cool.